Shakta buddhi sarvatra.
Asakta buddhi sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Nishkarma siddhim paramang.
Nishkarma siddhim paramam.
Sannasena adhigacchati.
Sannyasena adhigacchati. Ashakta buddhi sarvatra.
Ashakta buddhi sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Nishkarma siddhim paramam.
Nishkarma siddhim paramang.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
Sannyasena
adhigacchati. Asakta buddhi sarvatra.
Ashakta buddhi sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata spraha.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Naishkarmya siddhim paramam.
Nishkarma siddhim paramang.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
Sannasena
adhigacchati.
Asakta buddhi sarvatra.
Asakta buddhi sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata spraha.
Jitatma vigata spraha.
Naishkarmya siddhim paramam.
Naishkarmya siddhim paramam.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
Sannyasena adhigacchati. Asakta buddhi sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata spriha.
Nishkarma siddhim paramam.
Naishkarmya siddhim paramam.
Paramang.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
Anyone else? If not, I will move forward. We will read word by word meaning. Asakta buddhi.
Asakta buddhi.
Asakta buddhi.
Having unattached intelligence.
Having unattached intelligence.
Sarvatra.
Sarvatra.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Jita Atma.
Jita Atma.
Having control of the mind.
Having control of the mind.
Vigata Spriha.
Vigata Spriya.
Without material desires.
Without material desires.
Naiskarmya Siddhim.
Nishkarma Siddhim.
The perfection of non-reaction.
The perfection of
non-reaction.
Paramam.
Paramam.
Parama.
Supreme.
Supreme.
Sannyasena.
Sannyasena.
By the renounced order of life.
By the renounced order of life.
Adhigacchati.
Adhigacchati.
One attains.
One attains.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Bole Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfection, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. One more time. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfection, highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So Bhagavan Krishna is explaining how we can obtain the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. Real renunciation means that one should always think himself part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the results of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Krishna consciousness. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi. One in the renounced order of life. So sannyasi means one who is in the renounced order of life. By such a mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for the Supreme. Thus, he is not attached to anything material. He becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. A sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting so-called order of renunciation. This state of mind is called yoga ruddha, or the perfectional stage of yoga, the topmost yoga. As confirmed in the 3rd chapter, Yastva Atma Ratir Eva Syat. One who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. So let's discuss a very sentence Prabhupada is saying. Real renunciation means that one should always think himself part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Like a master, a servant is not a real servant is not thinking that property of my master is for my enjoyment, but he is serving his master, and in that way whatever his master gives he is enjoying. So the same, and this is true because this idea comes from Prabhupada says at many places that whatever we see in this material world is a reflection of Vaikuntha. So that's in the real world. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada says part and parcel. Krishna says, Sarvasya mamai vanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karsati. So that's here in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 verse 7. Krishna said to Arjuna, mamai vanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karsati. The translation is, the living entities in this conditioned world are my fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here, that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, we should think that we have no right to enjoy the results of our work, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. He is our master. So everything is made for his enjoyment, not our enjoyment. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the results of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. Like a servant works for his master, he doesn't care about his enjoyment. Whatever he gets, whatever work he does, his master enjoys. The same way, we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are made for his enjoyment. Whatever we do must be offered to Krishna, and in that way we also enjoy with him. This is actually Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada gives a definition of Krishna consciousness here, that this mentality, this service, this mood of service is actually Krishna consciousness. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi. So one in the renounced order of life. So there are four. The in Varnashram system, as we hear every day, most of the day, when the topic comes, there are four orders of life, stages of life. So we are made to live for 100 years, and in the first 25 years we need to be celibate. So that's called brahmacharya, and gain knowledge in our gurukula. And then 25 to 50 years we need to we can get married, and we enter in grihastha ashram. And then 50 to 75 we need to start preaching, going in pilgrimage. That's called vanaprastha, leaving decreasing attachment from this world. And then from 75 to 100 years we need to renounce everything from this world. And Prabhupada said here, the person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi. And that's what the topic is here. Bhagavan Krishna says, one who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments, can obtain the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction by practicing renunciation, by practice of renunciation. So Prabhupada explains here that the person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi, because he is doing everything for Krishna, according to order of Krishna. Krishna explains everything in Bhagavad Gita. So he said that he said in 9th chapter, verse 27, Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kuru swamadarpanam. Krishna said, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So it is Krishna's direction that we need to do everything for Krishna. And Prabhupada explains here, the person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. So what people do when they get sannyasa, they leave their home permanently, all attachments cut from family, from society, except they are only working for Krishna all the time. They are dependent on Krishna all the time. So as we discuss in four order of life, and there are so varna and asrama. So I explained the asrama, four asrama: brahmacharya ashram, grihastha ashram, and then vanaprastha ashram, and then the last one is sannyasa ashram. And there are four varnas also. Bhagavan Krishna says in 4th chapter, Chatur varnim maya srishta guna karma vibhagasa. That's another topic. So Prabhupada said, by such mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for for the Supreme. And in Bhagavatam, it is said that we can derive only satisfaction by serving the Supreme, because it's very scientific, because Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma, and when we make him happy, we become happy. So when we do activities in Krishna consciousness, we become satisfied, because Krishna becomes satisfied, and we are part of Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So we become satisfied. We become satisfied. Like when we when we look for enjoyment, we go where we think enjoyment is. But until unless we understand where the real enjoyment is, we cannot get enjoyment. Like we got high studies, we got good service, good salary, and then we try to look for satisfaction there in money, in good position, in good society, in other kind of activity that pleases our senses. But we don't understand that we are part of the Supreme, who is Sachidananda. Krishna is made of Sachidananda. Krishna is Sachidananda. He is made of Sat, truth, knowledge, and bliss. So he is made of bliss. If we look for bliss, we should go where the bliss is. But often people, 99% of people of this world are looking for bliss in a place where there is no bliss. We look bliss in matter, where we don't get bliss. But when we get connected with Krishna, who is made of bliss, then by doing that activity, we are satisfied. Because we get bliss. And when Krishna is satisfied, who is in our heart, we also get satisfaction. So thus, he is not attached to anything material. And that's true, because all activities we do in Krishna consciousness is spiritual, because we don't do anything for material gain. We just do it as our duty, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Narad Ji explains in Bhagavatam that when we pour water in a root of a tree, all leaves and branches gets nourished, gets that water. With the help of that water, they get nourishment from the earth. Similarly, when we serve our mouth, stomach, we put food in our stomach, our stomach get food, and then that processes, digest, and each limb of our body, each cell of our body get nutrient with the help of oxygen that we breathe, and the mechanism that we can understand that when we put food in our mouth, each limb of the body gets nourished. The same way, since we are part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna says, Mamaivanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthan karsati. So if we serve our Supreme Father, Krishna, that's transcendental service, because Krishna is transcendentally situated. He is not materially situated. He's not attached to anything, any matter in this universe. Though he is in our heart and in every atom of this universe, he is not attached to it. He is transcendental, and he provides spiritual energy to this universe. That's what we discuss when it comes to matter and spirit. So every atom has spirit. Brahma Samhita, in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji said, Andantarastha Paramalu Chayantarastham Govindam Adi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami. So I worship that Govinda which is in each Brahmanda as a Garbhodaksai Vishnu, from whose novel golden lotus sprouts, and then the lotus Brahmaji appears. So that's the Garbhodaksai Vishnu in each universe. And then he is form of Krishna, and then Krishna, there is another form of Krishna called Chira Udaksai. There is another Vishnu, Vishnu number 3. Vishnu number 1 produces universe, and then he is Mahavishnu, and then Garbha Udaksai Vishnu lie down in each universe. He creates Brahmaji, and then there is a Vishnu number 3, Chira Udaksai Vishnu. He is lying down in the Chira Sagar, ocean of milk. There is an ocean of milk on the northeastern side of this universe, and that Chira Udaksai Vishnu expand himself in innumerable form. He is in every atom. He is powering atom. Actually, when we look at atom is made of electron, proton, and neutron. In the nucleus, proton is spinning all the time, and in the orbit, in the periphery, electron is spinning all the time. So scientists are trying to understand where do proton gets energy from, because proton is spinning all the time. In my kurta or in my hair, there are electrons. In my skin, all electron protons are there. Atoms are there, various atoms are there, and in those atoms proton is there, which is revolving all the time, like top. They're revolving all the time. So where do they get energy from? So scientists are unable to discover where do protons get energy from. They can explain only 10 to 20% of that energy that is spent by proton. And the proton is everywhere. If proton doesn't get energy, everything will be flat. No universe will be made. No body, nothing. No air, nothing. So we see from science perspective also, it's a spiritual energy. It's not power. It's not possible with material means. So we cannot power each proton, by giving them heat. The system will not work. So it's Krishna's energy. In Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji says, Andantarastha Parmaluchayantarastham Govindamadi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami. So here Prabhupada said, thus he is not attached to anything material. So by this understanding, when we serve Krishna, since Krishna is transcendental, he is spiritual. He is in every atom. He is not material. Because by material means it is not possible to power each proton to make anything, air or matter, solid or anything. So he is spiritual. He creates matter. He creates matter. So we can understand that way, that anything we do for Krishna, since he is spiritual, he is Sachidananda, we don't do anything material by attaching with Krishna in all our activities. Prabhupada gives example of sun and sun rays, sunlight. Sun is not different from its sunlight. Similarly, when we attach with Krishna, we are always with Krishna. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita also that people who see me, I am not away from them, and they are not away from me. Now Prabhupada said, he becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord, service of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So now, if we are serving transcendental spiritual Lord, who is transcendentally situated, also everywhere situated, but he is spiritual, we get transcendental happiness, which is beyond material happiness. Prabhupada used transcendental happiness because we also get material happiness, flickering happiness little bit. When we get money, once in a month, we get some happiness, and then that happiness goes down. Then we again wait for another flickering happiness. That's material happiness. But when we serve Lord Krishna, we get transcendental happiness derived from his service, and that's everlasting. It doesn't depend on material thing. Now, a sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities. So that's how we should work, that we should not get. So Krishna explains here that how we get, like we ask question, how we are getting freedom from reaction. So the main, I was reading today chapter 13, where Krishna explains how to get, Prabhupada explains in verses after 20 and 24. Prabhupada explained that this word is made for us to prepare to go back to Godhead. And how we are going to back to Krishna Loka, Vaikuntha, because this is not our real home. Krishna here explains the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So we don't need any reaction. We don't need any attachment with this word. And Krishna tells the way out, how we should behave here to get highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Because once we get a reaction, we have to suffer that reaction, or we have to enjoy. It's either sinful or good activity, papa or punya. So both are bad. If we do papa, we get bad reaction. If we do punya, we get good reaction. But we don't want both reaction. That's the perfect stage of freedom. So we will not have any reaction. If we will not have any attachment to this word, we will have only attachment to the lotus feet of Krishna, who is transcendental, who is spiritual, and then we can go back to Godhead. This is all Krishna is telling, that how we can make our way out to our real home, back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha. So here, a sannyasi is supposed to be free from reactions of his past activities. So a sannyasi should work, Prabhupada explains here, a sannyasi should work in a way that he doesn't get any reaction from his activity, and he should get rid of all his past activities. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting so-called order of renunciation. So we don't need to renounce, like once someone was explaining that once Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj came in his karmic dress, but he used to renounce all his salary. He used to give all his salary to Prabhupada. So he said, don't be shy in the karmic dress. You are already sannyasi because you are working for Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada explains here, that a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation, because person in Krishna consciousness does all activities, everything for Krishna, like the one that is Krishna's order, because that's the way we can get rid of all reactions. And here Krishna said, whatever you do it for me. So this state of mind is called yoga ruddha. But let's look at what is real sannyasa. People say there are different conceptions, but our Acharya explains what is renunciation. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, here, not in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami explains what is real sannyasa. What is anasaktasya visayan yatharham upayunjuta nirbandha Krishna sambandha yuktam vairagya uchyate prapanchikataya buddhya harisambandhi vastunah mumukshubhe parityago vairagyam phalgu kachate. So Rupa Goswami tells that when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. So one who uh, rejects everything without knowledge, without knowing in what is its relationship with Krishna, is not complete in his renunciation. So we need to understand uh, who we are, who Krishna is, what is our relationship with our Supreme Father, Bhagavan Krishna, and then we can understand what is real renunciation is. To preach the bhakti cult, one should seriously consider these verses. That's what Prabhupada said. So that's a real renunciation. And प्रापंचिकतया बुद्धिया हरि संबंधी वस्तुना मुमुक्षुभि परित्यागो फल वैराग्यम फल्गु कथ्यते. So that's called Phalgu Vairagya, the false renunciation, false Vairagya. But if we use everything for Krishna, because everything belongs to Krishna, then it's complete. Like in Isopanishad, we discussed with Jiva Mataji that first verse of Isopanishad, Isavasyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunji tha magridha kasya siddhanam. This is the proofs other than Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Aham sarvasya prabhava. Everything comes from me. In 7th chapter, he said, Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Khang. So Bhumi is earth, Apa, water, Anala, fire, Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, air, Khang, empty space, Akas, ether. Everything comes, not only these, Bhumi, Apa, Analo, Vayu, Khang, and then Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. Bhumi, Apa, Analo, Vayu, Khang, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha. Khang, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha. Mano, Buddhi, Evacha. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankaram. And then Ahankara. Itiyamte bhinna prakriti ashtata. So that's Krishna said that these are eightfold my eightfold separated energy. So everything belongs to Krishna. We can say whatever we can see, whatever we see in this universe comes in these eight roughly. So Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Khang, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. Everything belongs to Krishna. And here in Isopanishad, it says that everything animate or inanimate, whatever we see in this universe, whether they are moving or non-moving, that is within the universe. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. So everything belongs to Krishna, whether it is moving or non-moving, animate or inanimate. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself. So we have to use only which is necessary for us, which are set aside by his quota and which is in our quota. And one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. This is another proof that nothing belongs to us. So why we should use those for us? So like Jiva Goswami tells Yukta Vairagya. When we renounce everything, that means we use everything for Krishna, because everything belongs to Krishna. And if we use everything, those things for Krishna, that's Yukta Vairagya. That's a real Vairagya, because those things, nothing belongs to us. So we have to use everything for Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada said here. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting the so-called renunciation. So if we use everything for Krishna, then we are already renounced, because we are not using them for us. When in India we grew up in family where people used to prepare the kurta and whatever the clothes, and they used to offer it to Krishna or Vishnu. And then after some time they take it, and then they wear themselves. Also, some people see that Krishna, this body is temple, Krishna's temple, because Krishna is in our heart. So this is actually Krishna's home. So if we wear clothes with that mentality, we don't get reaction. The same way, when we offer food to Krishna, first we prepare with the cleanliness and we offer food to Krishna. After 10-15 minutes, we take that food as prasadam. So there is no karma there, karma free food. We call karma free food. And we also, if we want to smell flower offered to lotus feet of Krishna. If we want to eat prasadam, if we want to eat food, we take Krishna prasadam, which is offered to Krishna. So in that way, and we think always, we use our mind, we think always about Krishna. We think about philosophy, we discuss with everyone, we work for Krishna. So that's real renunciation. We engage all our senses in Krishna consciousness for Krishna. This state of mind is called Yoga Ruddha. Yoga Ruddha means it's Ruddha. It's Ruddha means to prevent. To prevent mind with Krishna, engage everything for Krishna. The state of mind is called, Prabhupada says, Yoga Ruddha, or the perfectional stage of yoga. This is perfectional stage of yoga when we do everything for Krishna. We use all our senses, because we have 6 senses. We need to hear Krishna Katha from ear. We need to smell flowers offered to Krishna. We need to eat prasadam, and with the tongue we need to chant Krishna's mantra. We need to speak Krishna Katha. We need to read transcendental books, our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. With mind we need to think of Krishna Katha. We need to remember. With eyes we need to seek beautiful forms of Krishna. We can make different different posters of Krishna Leela, and then we can look at those beautiful posters. So Krishna is very beautiful. His essence, he has all the beauties. So we can see beauty. We can engage our eyes in seeing Krishna's beauty. So that's what Prabhupada explains, that the person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting so-called order of renunciation. And we discussed what is renunciation is. That the real renunciation is to know that everything belongs to Krishna, and he is the master, he is the owner, he is the proprietor. So we need to use everything for our master. To whom those things belong, we need to use for them, for him. And we need to we need to get prasadam from him. As confirmed in the 3rd chapter, Yastva Atma Ratir Eva Syat. One who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activities. So as it is explained here, Krishna says, Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigataspriya naskarmya siddhim paramam sannyasena adhigacchati. So who is sannyasi? Sannyasena adhigacchati. One who is self-controlled. So we have to control our intelligence, self-controlled, unattached to everything, because those things are not doesn't belong to us. Nothing belongs to us here in this material world. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is Sachidananda. We are also tiny Sachidananda. So, and both our Atma and Paramatma, they reside in our heart. So we have to serve him. Like I gave example of Narad Muni explains, when we pour water in the root of a plant, plant get nourished. Every branches and leaves get nourishment. The same way, if we put food in our mouth, our body is getting gets energy. The same way, if we serve our Father Krishna, who is our Supreme Father, as Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, we get happiness and nourishment for our soul. Who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain. So we don't have to enjoy ourselves, because those matters are, all matters are not made for our enjoyment. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita um, that I am the Bhokta, Bhoktaram Jagyatapasam Sarvalok Maheswaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatma Mam Santi Mrichati. So he gives Santi formula, peace formula there, that I am the enjoyer of all Jagya. Whatever we do, we should do Jagya. Krishna said, Jagya arthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. He said that the duties one should perform in the form of Jagya. Whatever we do, we have to do for Jagya, for Vishnu, for Krishna, not for us. If we do other than Jagya, we get that reaction. So Jagya arthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Krishna says, if we do anyatra, if we do other activities other than Jagya, other than for Vishnu or Krishna or Ramachandra or Nrsimhadev, all Vishnu Tattva, if we have to do for Vishnu Tattva. If we do other than those, then we get lokoyam karma bandhana. Then we get karma bandhana, then we get reaction. And then the real life's goal, which Prabhupada explains, to go back to Godhead. In that 13th chapter I was reading today with my friends, Prabhupada explains that we don't need to know how we came to this material world. We just need to get out of it. And Krishna tells how to get out of it. Krishna tells here that one who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyment can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So he's telling that how we can get freedom from reaction, to get out of this material world, this bound world, where we suffer 4 kinds of misery. Janma, Mrityu, Jara means old age, and Vyadhi means disease. We don't like it. Our human form of life is made for devising, the discovering, inventing, or following footsteps of our Acharya to get rid of those 4 miseries of material world. So, and here Prabhupada says in the chapter 3, it says that chapter 3 verse chapter 3 verse 13, verse 17, Yastvatmaratireva syad amritaptasya manava atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyana vidyate. Krishna said that, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. That's what Prabhupada quotes here, that one who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity, because he doesn't do anything for himself. He does everything for Krishna. And when we have freedom, here Prabhupada said himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activities. So why do we fear? In Bhagavatam, it is explained by rishis, I think by Navajogendra, that when we engage our activities in secondary energy of God, secondary energy of Krishna. Krishna says, like we discussed in seventh chapter, Bhumi apo analo vayo khang mano buddhreyo cha ahankaram iti yamte bhinna prakriti ashtada. So bhinna prakriti, separated energy, secondary energy. So all matter, Bhumi apo analo vayu, the earth, water, air, fire, ether, everything is secondary energy of Krishna. So it said, bhayam dvitiya abhinivesatah syat. So bhayam, why do we have bhayam? Fear, because we engage in Lord's secondary energy. What is his secondary energy? Bhumi, earth, water, air, fire, and sky. So, but if we engage our activity in all spiritual activity in the service of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. But it's hard. People ask different questions, but we don't implement. So I will end here because I covered everything, and I will see if anyone has any comments or questions. Do we have any comments or questions?
I have one comment, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
You said that prasadam is karma-free food. It's not just karma-free food, I would think. It is also spiritually enhancing food, or it increases our spirituality, not just
Yes,
take,
Mataji. Yes.
karma-free.
Yeah. Very true, Mataji. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Shuddha Sattva, it's not just karma-free.
Yeah. Yeah. It has many, many benefits. Yeah.
Right. Not just karma-free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very nice class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, one quick question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
What does it mean to do karma like yoga? What does Krishna mean when he says yagnarthat karmano nyatra? What does it really mean? And practically, like in our day-to-day lives, how can we practice that?
I don't remember what Prabhupada said, but what I understand is we have to do, in Varnashram system, we say asrama. So asrama mean that we serve Vishnu Tattva there. So either we serve Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narsimha, Sita Ram, Lakshmi Vishnu, all Vishnu Tattva, Krishna, Radha, Gaur Nitai, what we do in Gaudiya Vaishnava. So we have to do that way, because that is only asrama. In Brahmacharya asrama, we gain all the knowledge. We work for Guru. In Grihastha asrama, we work for Krishna. We produce progeny for Krishna. And we have to give charity to sustain Krishna consciousness. In Vanaprastha asrama, we need to do dharma prachara. The Krishna consciousness. We have to help spread Krishna consciousness. Starting, going to pilgrimage, reducing attachment from our family and society, and devoting ourselves to Krishna consciousness, in spreading Krishna consciousness. And as sannyasi, we have to serve with our words, with our duties, and with our mind. So we have to do everything for Krishna. And that's what Krishna means, that Jagyarthat karmalo anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Jagyarthat karmalo. So whatever we have to do, we cannot stay calm. We have to do something. But Krishna said we have to do for Krishna. So that's Yajna. Whatever we do for Vishnu, Yajna by Vishnu. In Vedas, it's called Yajna by Vishnu. And also Krishna says here in that whatever you do it for me. Here. So that clears like yat karosi yadasnasi yajuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuru samadarpanam. Because when we do anything for us, that is going to bind us. That is going to give us reaction. That's why Krishna says, whatever we do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. That's it. Because we are not going to take anything, a penny. Even this body is we are not gonna take it with us. But it's very difficult to practice that. But with the help of acharyas and gurus and all the Vaishnavas, we may get power, encouragement to do that. So we don't have to do anything for us. We have to do only for Yajna, only for Vishnu Tattva, only for Krishna. So that's what I understand, and that's what Krishna is trying to indicate here, that the verse I read. Is there anything particular you want to ask?
No, Prabhuji, I think you explained it very nicely,
I
especially
mean, yeah,
that verse that you read out,
yeah,
that everything that we do, we have to do for Krishna, right? So that is essentially is the essence. So
exactly.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. And also, Krishna said we don't have to do punya and papa. Both are wrong. It's explained successively in I think in 12th chapter. We are taught do only punya, 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 not papa. But punya is also bad, because we have to come back again to release that enjoyment. So
Right.
so
Yeah,
yeah, so that
makes sense.
yeah, Lord Kapil Dev, who is incarnation of Krishna in Bhagavatam, he explains that we don't get mukti, we don't get ticket to Vaikuntha unless our motto, our aim of life is in line with Lord's way of life. If we dovetail all our activities with the commandments that Krishna gave, then only we can go out of this universe, this material world. Otherwise, there is no way. It's clearly explained by Lord Kapil Deva that there is no relief until then. So there is no way out. We think this way and that way, but then we got caught. Krishna said, Baddha Jiva, we are bound here. So until unless we hear what Krishna is saying, what Prabhupada is making us understand, then that's the only way.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nicely explained.
Any other comment or questions?
Yeah. So it also says that you cannot go back to, like you said, Vaikuntha or Krishna, unless we have full detachment,
Yes,
from
Mataji.
everything
Yeah.
material. But
Yeah.
detaching from family seems to be like the hardest,
Mataji,
do
but if we think, I think it's hard. Yeah, that's what everyone accepts. But if we think all the time, that's what Prabhupada said. Like Prabhupada used to give that, say that you are not this body. So one of his disciple Maharaja told that you are saying this all the time, that you are not this body. Prabhupada said that's what we need to understand. That's what we don't understand, that we are not this body, we are soul. So if we understand fully, and Krishna said, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo beti tattota. The word is tattota. So we have to understand tattota, not superficial understanding. We have to understand tattota, that this is my mother, this is child of Krishna, this is part and parcel of Krishna. This is my father, he is also part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna gave him, so we can try to bring them in Krishna consciousness. We can try to be affectionate, but we have to focus on ourselves by understanding who are they, our family members, our society members, our country members, country citizens. So we have to know tattvata. In reality, we have to know. It's not easy. Once Prabhupada, someone said that it's very easy. We can remember Krishna at the end of our life. Prabhupada said it's not easy. You are gonna remember whatever you did in your whole life. That's why Prabhupada said, service. We have to serve Krishna because nothing belongs to us. He is our master. He is our father. In that way, we can understand. We cannot understand without doing everything for Krishna. That's why these sannyasis, Prabhupada's all disciples, they engage. I always give example of Jiva Mataji and Pyare Prabhu, that they are serving Lord Jagannath for the last 40 years. It's amazing. Whenever I meet any Indian people, I tell this, that see how much determination they have, and that by seeing that determination, we can understand how what Krishna said, that tattvata. So we have to understand tattvata. That's why we have been given 100 years. This 100 years, if we do follow Prabhupada, do Sankirtan Yagya, Krishna consciousness, then only we can understand. Otherwise, if we try to escape by doing this, by doing that, it's impossible.
I know somewhere I think Srila Prabhupada said if your family is not Krishna conscious, then you should not be with, like Prabhupada himself left his family, right?
Yeah,
because
he gave.
his family was not
Exactly.
conducive to his Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So he gave examples. He is the real Acharya. He is teaching by his example. So we have to meditate on him 3 times a day. That's what we sing in the prayer. So it's hard, but together we can do with the mercy of all Vaishnava Acharya, with Prabhupada, Jiva Mataji and Pyare Prabhuji. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a nice class.
If there is no comments or question, then we can offer Vaishnava Pranama. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.